Can't see me, can't see me. What's up, chicken butts? I'm Red02, and we're gonna do some learnings with Red02 today. Yes, I know I look homeless, and I look homeless because if you look homeless, nobody bugs you. They don't expect very much of you. But we're gonna learn you with Red02 today. So we're gonna learn how to eliminate belt slip, and everybody's been asking, and I keep on telling them that I'm gonna make a video soon, and I haven't, about the holy pulley. The whole conspiracy of the holy pulley going around, and how it works. We're going to show you how to do it, and yeah. So number one on how to eliminate belt slip is absolutely no pulleys under 5 inches. I mean, you can get a little bit risky and go 4.5, 4 inches, but if you're going to be playing in the mud, do not go under 5 inches. I don't give a shit about all you people. Oh, I run a 3-inch, I run a 2.5 inch, and I have 0 belt slip. I don't care. That's it. It doesn't work. You have belt slip, and if you don't have belt slip, you have the perfect belt grip, the perfect worn-in belt, the perfect setup. You're the only person that doesn't have belt slip with that tiny of a pulley on your machine. Do not go under 5 inches. Wheel horses, everybody's been running 7-inch on the engine, 5-inch on the transaxle. Gets you around 20-ish miles an hour. Excuse me. Sears, pretty much same stuff. 7-inch on the motor, 5-inch on the transaxle is a really, really good combo. An 8.6 or an 8.5. Good combos. Secondly, 1/2-inch belt. I don't care what you heard about 5/8 belts, none of that shenanigans. 1/2-inch belts. 1/2-inch belts for the RPMs that we are turning on these engines, the input shaft and the engine, the RPMs that we are putting out. 1/2-inch belts are rated for higher horsepower than 5/8 belts. I'll do the little chart here. You can look see for yourself. But 1/2-inch belts. Not only do 1/2-inch belts wrap around the pulleys easier, they dissipate heat quicker, and they grip better. They get down in that V groove of that pulley, and they grip much better than a 5/8. If you take a smaller pulley and you try and wrap a 5/8 belt around it, you have to force it around. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is a 1/2-inch belt, this is a 5/8 belt, okay? They're both a little bit worn out, but look, I'm just bouncing this. I'm using the weight of the belt, and that's how small that belt can go. I bounced the 1/2-inch belt, and look how much of a difference that is. So if you got a tight radius or a tight clutch setup, you're actually using more force to get this 5/8 belt to wrap around that pulley versus a 1/2-inch belt. The more you have to force this belt to wrap around a pulley, the hotter this belt is going to get, and the quicker it's going to destroy itself. Now, so the 1/2-inch belt is the way to go. You can get a much smaller pulley to hook up with this belt than you can a 5/8. People are going to say, "Oh, you got to put a tighter clutch spring on there. Put a clutch spring on, tighter clutch spring on there." It doesn't just work, because once you get to a certain tightness with that clutch spring, you're going to start wrecking your input bearings on your transaxle and your bearings in your idler pulleys. So you can tell people to put 17,000 trampoline springs on your clutch, and it might work for a little bit, but you could use 1 clutch spring or 2 clutch springs with this 1/2-inch belt and completely blow away the competition, because you're going to get belt grip with this 1/2-inch belt versus the 5/8. So up next, Holy Pulley mod. What is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right, so Holy Pulley. Big shout out to Mr. Studebaker here on YouTube. If you don't know who Mr. Studebaker is, you're a stink butt, because this man has built the only capable, badass Cub Cadet off-roader. The man has gone over the top with his Cub Cadet builds and is currently building one of the baddest tractors I've ever even dreamt of experiencing. So go check out his channel. But Mr. Studebaker does not even run a pulley tractor at the time that we came up with the Holy Pulley mod. Mr. Studebaker is the reason why none of us have belt slip anymore, because he is the one that pushed us to figure out how to fix the belt slip issue. He's the one that came up, did the math, and found the charts that 1/2-inch belts work better than 5/8 belts. And he's also the one that pushed to figure out one of us to start drilling pulleys and see if that worked. Now, Roy Brandon is the first one to actually drill holes in his pulley and test it, and it worked great. I've had this idea on my mind for a while now, for several years, but I haven't had the guts to try it. I didn't want to shred belts. I thought it was going to shred belts, but it doesn't. So big thank you to Mr. Studebaker for bringing light to us inferior belt people. But he is the one that I give credit, a lot of us give credit, for the Holy Pulley mod. So the Holy Pulley mod is basically, you take a pulley, I'll get one. So you take this pulley, okay, and it's got a pretty deep V. So you're gonna take your belt, put it down into the pulley, and then you can see it rides pretty much all the way down here at the center, because this is more for a 5/8 pulley, but this is actually a deck pulley. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take and drill a series of holes. Now, I've used 1/8-inch holes. People have used 3/16 and 1/4-inch holes. I think the 3/16 and the 1/4-inch holes work better than the 1/8-inch. So what I ended up did on the mud dynamark, as you see right here. So I finally got the mud dynamark back, and as you can see, there is an arrangement of holes in my pulley. And I went over this on my walk around video on this tractor, and you can kind of see the ones up in the back. So I went a little bit different route than everybody else. I did little tiny holes, and I did them in a certain arrangement. I'll go over that. And a lot of people were doing 1/4-inch along with 3/16. So I did a whole bunch of little pulleys in a series on the mud dynamark, but what people have done is they've spaced out 1/4-inch or 3/16 holes in a lot more spread out fashion, as opposed to doing a whole bunch of little ones like I did. And I believe I'm going to start doing 3/16 in a more spread out pattern. So now what that does is, whenever you're down in the mud and your belt's riding there, this mud and water gets shoved up in between the V of the pulley and the belt, and it has nowhere to escape. But if you drill the holes along the circumference of the pulley, that mud comes up in the water and it gets shot out of the pulley, leaving a good grip belt to pulley contact surface patch that makes it grip. So for educational purposes, we got this 5-inch pulley here. It does not need drilled. I'm not using it, but hey, a Holy Pulley is better than no Holy Pulley. But we're not going to go ahead and drill this whole entire thing. Basically, I'm just going to give you a little quick briefing. So you can see where that belt rides. So that's about 1/4 inch in from the end. So that's about where your belt rides, and then the right here on this lip is where the inside of that belt rides. So we're going to want to drill our holes within this spectrum in between those two lines. Just imagine if that line was all the way drawn around. So then what you're going to want to do is, you don't want to drill too many holes, you don't want to drill too little of holes. So I've seen people put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes in there. That's pretty darn good. The Mud Dynamark, I have little tiny 1/8 inch holes, so I have a lot more holes in there to dissipate probably the same, if not less, mud and water than the bigger holes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just do this one on the center. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 holes on there. Okay, that'll be about perfect for this little 5-inch pulley. And as you can see, I didn't stagger it. I didn't do any sorts of measurements. If you want to get super technical with it, you can go ahead and measure it. But we're going to go ahead and drill this, and then I will come back to you and show you how to clean it up. So this is a little bit of a pain in the tush to get this to start drilling. So I like to hold the vise up. You really shouldn't be doing it like this. You can do this by hand. You don't have to use a drill press. But once you got one hole in there, you can kind of straighten it back up and use that top hole as a guide for the bottom hole. And we'll go ahead and drill that. So like I said, just for educational purposes, we're just going to go ahead and drill one hole in there. But then here's where the issue is. You see that big nasty burr in there? Down in that pulley. We need to get rid of that. So you need to get a file, and what you're trying to do here is you're trying not to destroy the pulley. So you have to get in there with some like 80 grit sandpaper or a file. So we'll file it up a little bit, and I'll show you how we want it to look. You want it to try and feel like the hole's not even there whenever you run your finger over. All right, so I just took the file real quick, and you can see how that's knocked down, but I still got a little bit of burr on the upper side. So what we're gonna do is I'll set this up real quick, and I'll show you a little trick that I like to do with this. I know this is gonna be a little bit crooked. All right, so what you want to do is you want to take a 1/2 inch V-belt. Since you're going to be running a 1/2 inch V-belt, you're going to take a piece of sandpaper. So I got, I think this is 220 grit. You can use 80 grit. 80 grit will sand this a lot quicker. But now that sandpaper takes the shape of the V-belt. Now you're going to put the V-belt and the sandpaper in the pulley, and now you can sand directly right where that belt is going to ride in that pulley. Now I set this up a little bit quick and not the best, so unfortunately my top hole is in like the perfect spot, but my bottom hole's off a little bit, so it's riding on the bottom side of the belt. But I gotta clean up that bottom hole a little bit better. But like I said, since it's in the bottom, that sandpaper is not going to clean it up as good as I would like it to. So if I go ahead and just take the sandpaper back and just clean it up a little bit, you're trying not to mess it all up. You don't want to thin out the pulley too much. You don't want to take a grinder and shove a grinder in there and create a whole bunch of score marks. But now you got a I can shove my finger in there, run it around, give it pressure, and I'm not cutting my fingers. So that's what you want that to look like. So you're going to go ahead and drill all of those holes and clean those up on the insides. You're going to want to clean these up too, just in case you got to work on your mower in the trail, so you don't end up cutting your hands or anything like that. But that's the Holy Pulley mod. You're going to have a whole bunch of holes around there to dissipate the mud, water, help with belt grip, help eliminate belt slip, and keep that belt cooler longer, so that way your belt can last longer. Well guys, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you out. Seriously, no pulleys over 5-inch. Use them 1/2-inch belts and do the Holy Pulley mod, especially if you're going to be getting into deep, thick stuff, the ooey gooey, muddy wuddy. But as you can see over here, we got scheduled for 2022. July 10th is the last chance qualifier for the last spot for the Top Tractor Challenge 2022. That is on July 30th. If you think you have what it takes to compete, go check out Creepy Crawler's video of the last chance qualifier, and go ahead and join Ohio Off-Road Mowers on Facebook. If you're interested, contact Creepy Crawler and or myself and send me some videos. And if you want to get that last spot at TTC, you better be at that last chance qualifier. It's pretty cool. We got a lot of new sponsors this year at TTC. Super clean once again. Make sure you go check them out. Oxbeam, you can get 12% off all orders over $29.99 using code RED02. I really like their LED lights. Go check out Longbow Jerky. That's another sponsor. Adams Small Engine for all your small engine stuff. Midnight Auto LLC down in North Carolina for all your classic car restoration needs, and Slacker Chassis out in Ohio. They are a racing lawnmower chassis company, and they supplied a cool off-road bumper this year. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go check out some of my other videos, and best of luck on your elimination of belt slip. Until next time, have a wonderful day.